It's my job in the next sort of 30 minutes or so to give you an overview of our 5 MBA programs: the FullTime MBA, PartTime MBA, Management Technology MBA, EMBA in Aboriginal Business and Leadership, and last but not least is our EMBA, which is actually the oldest EMBA in Canada. It actually started back in 1968. As well as that, I'm going to give you an overview of our school and tell you a bit more about who we are and introduce you to some of our current students and alumni so you can see the sort of students that we have here. So myself and the team here, every day we work with MBA students. We interview students, prospective students, we work with our alumni, our current students. So we ask this question a lot: why are you thinking about doing an MBA? And if I could group the answers into sort of 3 main buckets, they'd be these. The first one is the idea of advancement. A great reason to do an MBA is to help you, take your career to the next level. So maybe you've reached a plateau, maybe you've reached a certain point in your career and it's not moving forward as quick as you'd hoped. An MBA can give you the skill set, the knowledge, the network to accelerate that advancement. What's great about many of our MBA programs here at BD are that you can study part-time, and that means you don't need to pause your career. So what actually happens on our programs is a lot of that advancement, a lot of that career development happens during the course of the program. A great example of this is William Jackson. William is the Senior Manager for Information Systems at Arterix, and during the course of our Management of Technology MBA program, he secured this role. So he was in a more sort of technical role before, and he took a big step up during the course of the Management of Technology MBA. And what we hear from our students again and again is when they're on our programs is that people around them, their colleagues and their bosses, look at them a little bit different. So you'll have a different way of talking in meetings. You'll have a new approach to solving old problems. So an MBA can give you that toolkit. And don't feel that you have to wait until the end of the program before you see that advancement. Another reason that people choose to do an MBA is the idea of change. So that can be change of industry, changing your role, working for a different company, or it could even be, starting out on your own and starting your own business. And increasingly on our MBA programs, we see people, start their own companies. Some great examples of change. This is Mo Akinyemi. She studied on our FullTime MBA program. Previously, she was a pharmacist, and now she's a consultant in strategy and operations at Deloitte. So she made a huge step across. Another great example of someone who went through big change on the program is Cody Baker. He's also one of our MOT MBA alumni, and he was previously an engineer, but during the course of the MBA, he co-founded his own company, and it's called Velo Metro. And what Velo Metro is, it works a little bit like Car2Go. It's a vehicle sharing scheme, but the vehicle is not a car, it's actually a bicycle. It's an electric-powered bicycle. And Cody and his colleagues are in the process of rolling this out in Vancouver. So when you see these flying around Vancouver, remember that they were developed on the BD MBA. We talk a lot about, step up and advancement and career change, but a lot of people also do an MBA to thrive. And what I mean by that is you might be really happy in your role, you might really be inspired by what you do and happy in your organization. But what an MBA can help you do is really increase your ability, increase your capacity to do more. So a lot of people do the MBA to really help them grow and not necessarily change. Some good examples, this is Karthik. Karthik is the Chief Data Officer for HSBC Canada. So he's got a pretty big role already. He's not looking to change or to move up, but he did our executive MBA, and he did that so he could establish himself further at HSBC and grow himself and become even more efficient and better at what he does. Another great example is Manroop, who's one of our current students on our part-time MBA program, which is based in Surrey. She's the Director of Human Resources at the Atira Women's Resource Society. And she is very inspired by what she does, and she is doing the MBA to help her grow and help her organization be even more impactful. So those are sort of some reasons to think about doing an MBA. And these people that I've shown you are the sorts of people that you'll connect with on our programs. This will be your new network. So when you join one of our programs, you'll be part of a group of around 40 to 50 students. You'll also be part of a wider group of around 200 MBA students that graduate from our programs every year. And you'll also be part of a large alumni network as well as you move forward. So this is your new network that you can develop. We have alumni around the globe. So we have hubs in Europe, in Asia, but primarily, most of our alumni are here in Vancouver. Every year we produce MBA graduates who are leading and managing in this city. We are very much Vancouver's business school. So if you want to develop your career here or elsewhere, we can give you the network to do that. So let me tell you a bit more about BD. We are accredited by EQUIS and AACSB. So those are the logos that you see in the top left. EQUIS is the European accreditation body for business schools, and AACSB is the North American equivalent. And why is this important, you may ask? Well, what they do when they look at business schools is they look at a wide variety of factors. They look at our strategy, our vision. They look at our curriculum, our research output, what our faculty teach and do. And less than 1% of all business schools globally have both accreditations. So that means that the quality of education that you'll receive here at BD will be of the very highest standard. This is our vision statement. This is our mission as a business school. So we develop innovative and socially responsible business leaders with a global perspective. And we do this through education, inspired by research and grounded in practice. What that means for you is that on our MBA programs, we will work really hard with you to help you grow as a leader. And we want you to be able to innovate and be socially responsible as you move on into leadership roles. Of course, we want to help you develop that global perspective as well. Inspired by research and grounded in practice, what we mean by that is we want you to learn the latest knowledge and be inspired by the research that our faculty do. We have some amazing faculty here who produce some excellent research. But we also want that to be grounded in practice. We want it to be practical. We want you to be able to apply that in your careers. I want to introduce a couple of our faculty members now so you can understand some of the people who will teach you on our MBA programs. First up is Dr. Alicia Maine. So Dr. Maine teaches innovation across our MBA programs. She does a lot of really great research into innovation and, most importantly, how to commercialize innovation. So in Canada, we are actually really good at innovating. We're actually really good at coming up with new ideas and new technologies. But what we're not very good at is commercializing these and taking them to market. But Dr. Maine does a lot of research. She works very closely with startups and helps startups grow. And she takes that knowledge and brings it back into her teaching in our programs here at BD. She has a master's degree from MIT, and her PhD was from the University of Cambridge. Dr. Ian McCarthy, he is our Associate Dean of Graduate Programs, and he'll be here in a couple of moments to teach you in an MBA class. He teaches technology, operations management, and strategy on our programs. And he is a prolific researcher. He has been published in the areas of operations, innovation and change, social media, creative consumers, and strategy. And the reason why I've put Ian's Twitter handle there on the screen is that he's ranked as one of the top professors in the world to follow on Twitter. And that's because he shares his ideas and he shares his research very widely. In fact, one of his papers was the most cited paper globally last year, according to Google Scholar. This is Professor Andrew Harries. He's the Tom Ford Professor of Practice in Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Professor Harries did his MBA here at BD. He doesn't have a PhD because he went out and started his own company. So he co-founded a company called Sierra Wireless, which many of you may have heard of. And he later sold that company. He's really someone who has been there and done it. He's been a successful entrepreneur. He still holds a number of technology patents. And he teaches entrepreneurship on our program. He's been involved with our faculty advisory board for a number of years, and now we've brought him in to teach on our programs. So you'll work with faculty on any of our programs. You'll probably work with 15 or 16 different faculty members. Many of them will have amazing practical experience as well as that great academic experience. So now I want to give you a quick overview of each of our 5 MBA programs. So first up is our FullTime MBA program. It is based here at the Siegel Graduate Building. It begins every September, And it's a 12-month academic program plus a 4-month work term, which is typically an internship. We have classes here every day, Monday to Friday. It's intensive. It's 1 year, essentially, of academic. And it's in a small, very diverse class. This is our current cohort, which began in 2016. You can see it's very international, so around 55% of the students in the group are from outside of Canada. And they don't just come from 1 or 2 countries, they come from a wide variety of different countries. The average age of this program is 28, so it's probably the youngest program in terms of the average age. And we're really excited, actually. Right now, we have more women than men on our FullTime MBA, which is actually really unusual. The diversity extends to the sample industries that we have students come from. So they come from a wide variety of different industries, as well as coming from a wide variety of different countries. And the Canadians that are in the group, they come not just from Vancouver, BC, but from across Canada. So we capped the size of this program at 55. I think we have 52 students in it right now. The program is taught over 3 semesters. So as I said, we begin in September in the fall, and these are the courses that you would take in that first semester, which would run from September through to December, Christmas time. Moving through to semester 2, these are the courses that you would take in the spring, courses such as negotiation, managing information, also business and Indigenous peoples. Between the spring and the summer semester in the full-time program, we also have a cross-cultural experience. And what happens here is you have 2 options. One is to go on an international study tour. The other option is to stay local and go on a study tour where you'll work with Indigenous communities here in BC. On the international tour, recently we've been to Peru, Colombia, we've been to Japan in the past. This year our students are heading to Brazil for a 10-day study tour. We come back to do the final semester, which is the summer semester, a more strategic focus where we look at things like business strategy, operations management. And then we lead into the professional experience, which happens at the end of the 12 months. And what's great about the internship happening at the end of the 12 months is that you can move straight into a more permanent role if you want to, or your internship can transfer into a permanent role. If you do your internship during the course of an MBA, between like semesters 2 or 3, you have to come back here, and there isn't that smooth transition available to you. All of the internships are paid, and the average salary is around $2,500 Canadian dollars. So the full-time MBA program can really be characterized as a very intensive experience with a small cohort, very much team-based, very experiential, and in a very diverse international group. And that will really impact you and your career moving forward. And I just want to play a short video now from Audrey, who's one of our recent graduates from the full-time program, talking about diversity and how it impacted her career.
The MBA was my first chance really working closely with people who had different educational backgrounds than me, from different industries and different functional areas, which is what I experience here at Lululemon, especially because we're going global. As internal communications manager, I work with about 12,000 employees around the globe. So oftentimes the project teams that I work on here come from all different areas of the business. We believe that diversity really fuels innovation and collaboration, and I first got to test that out in the MBA.
So that's our full-time program. And next up is our part-time MBA. The part-time program is based in Surrey at SFU's Surrey campus, which is a really amazing place to learn, a really amazing building. The part-time program is similar in terms of the curriculum, but the program format is different. So we study part-time, and it takes 24 months to complete. So we actually begin in January. The next intake will be January 2018. We have classes on Monday and Thursday evenings from 6 until 9:30 p.m. We also have, normally once per semester, a 3-day intensive, normally towards the end of each semester. The number of students in this program is a little bit lower than the full-time, so we try to cap it at 45 students. You'll see here that these students are a bit more experienced, a little bit older. So the average age on this program is 35, with around 11 years of experience. So many of the people in this program, they're already in management roles. It's a very well qualified class. You can see 20% of the class already have a master's degree. What's really exciting about the program is the wide variety of different degree backgrounds that people come from, and also industries that people come from as well. So it's a very diverse group, and we really encourage you to bring those perspectives from your role and from your industries into the classroom and share them with your colleagues. It's very team-based, as is the FullTime MBA. And the program, which begins in January, is split over 6 semesters, 3 semesters per year. And starting in January and the spring, these are some of the courses that you would take through the spring, the summer, and into the fall. Moving into year 2, you can see you study subjects such as marketing management and entrepreneurship in the spring. In the summer, it's a slightly busier schedule as we move towards the end of the program, studying programs such as operations management and then wrapping up with economics and business strategy. And what we see on the part-time program is that, as I mentioned earlier, you really will see that career advancement, that career growth during the course of the program. A recent part-time MBA class, actually over 80% of that class were promoted or changed careers during the course of the MBA. So you'll be able to leverage your network through the program, our career development team, to help you make those next steps forward. So the part-time program is really a place to connect and build your network, to share experiences of the challenges that you're facing in the workplace, and learn from each other and come up with new ideas and new perspectives for solving problems. It's all based at our SFU Surrey campus. And I'm just going to play a short video now from one of our current students, actually, Kevin, who's going to tell us a little bit more about this program.
I decided on a career in logistics because I always enjoyed problem solving. Every day is different. The dynamic of working in a transportation environment is very challenging, and I love that. I decided to take an MBA program because it expands my horizons. It allows me to get the positions that I know are out there, but I need the education to get. The quality of instructors at the BD School of Business is some of the best that I've ever seen. We have teachers from industry. They're current in their fields. They read our profiles. They know who they're teaching. And it becomes more of a conversation than a lecture.
So next up is our Management of Technology MBA. Our Management of Technology MBA is based here at the Seagull Graduate School. We have classes every Monday and Wednesday evenings from 6 until 9:30 p.m. It also takes 2 years to complete, and this program begins in September. So our next intake will start in September of this year. This is actually a shot from one of our lecture theatres up on the 4th floor. This is an MOT class in action. This is the breakdown of the demographics of our current Management of Technology MBA class. You can see in many ways it's similar to the part-time program. The average age and the amount of work experience is quite similar to our part-time MBA. Again, it's a very well qualified class with around 1 in 5 people already having a master's degree. But what's really different about the Management of Technology MBA is it is more technology focused. This is for technology professionals, people from science backgrounds, to really make that step up from technical roles into more managerial roles. This is primarily an MBA program, but it does have a real technology flavor. And it's very innovative as well. It's one of only 2 programs in Canada with this technology focus. So you'll see courses like Leadership for Technology-Driven Enterprise, Strategic Use of Information and Knowledge, IP Management and New Product Development in the summer, as well as doing your regular MBA courses. The program is split over 6 semesters, the same as the part-time program, but as you can see, we begin in the fall, so our next class starts in fall 2017. This is what year 2 looks like on the MOT MBA. In the spring of 2019, you'll have some exciting options. You can actually do a biotech stream where you can study regulatory affairs and the business of biotech, and that would mean you'd swap out 2 of the courses that are on the left. Also, in the summer, the final semester, you have some great options, either to do an applied project, which is a research project, which you could focus on the organization that you work for or another organization. Or you can do the courses on the right, the capstone simulation, the entrepreneurship course, and the industry tour. The industry tour is a really exciting part of the MOT MBA. This is where we take students to, there's two options really. You can either go to Silicon Valley, where you will work with and present to on problems that companies are facing, to companies such as LinkedIn, Google, Salesforce, as well as smaller startup companies as well. And we'll shortly have an industry tour based here in Vancouver, where you can connect with technology companies right here at home. As well as doing the industry study course, you can also do the industry study tour in between years 1 and 2. So over the course of the program, you'd have the option to either do the Vancouver Tech Industry Tour, as well as head down to Silicon Valley and work with companies down there. The program is very much team-based and experiential like our other programs, but the key difference is that technology focus. So even when we're doing more traditional MBA courses, the discussion, because of the composition of the class and the focus of the program, will often be more tech-focused. So this is ideal for people who want to lead and manage in the technology field, a sector that's really booming in BC right now. So it's a really exciting program to be a part of. It's an innovative program in its nature, but also during the program, like many of our MBAs, will really help you to help you develop your innovation skills. And that doesn't necessarily need to be sort of innovation in terms of starting your own business. It can be innovating in terms of your own company, in terms of the company that you're part of, innovating in terms of your processes and your actions as an organization. So I'm just going to play you a short video now from Matt, who's one of our recent MOT MBA alumni, talking about his experience on the program.
There's really two kinds of innovation in business. First, there's product-driven innovation, but there's also process innovation, and that's where the program really opened my mind to examine what our processes are and how can we do them better. We took project management courses, and they weren't just the nuts and bolts of how to run a project. It was how to manage a whole team of people and provide a vision for them while figuring out the best way to run a project. I feel now in my day-to-day Assembly Co, I'm really well equipped to handle our many projects in parallel and keep them all on track.
So our next program is our Executive MBA in Aboriginal Business and Leadership. This is a one-of-a-kind program in Canada, moving into its 5th year, a program that we're really proud of. It's important, whichever industry you work in, to understand Indigenous business and also to understand the aspirations of Indigenous communities. This program teaches and helps leaders and managers from both Indigenous communities and also people who work in the realm of Indigenous business. So, for example, the resource sector, property development, government. It's a program that takes 24 months to complete, and we have classes in either 1 or 2 week intensives. So each semester you would join us for a week or 2 weeks at a time with a total of 3 weeks per semester. All of the classes are based right here in the Siegel building. It's a really exciting class as well in terms of its size. It's a small cohort, so we deliberately keep it to a size of around 30 students. And these students don't just come from BC, they come from across Canada. So I actually mapped out the postcodes of some of our recent EMBA, ABL students, and you can see students fly in from across the country, Alberta, Saskatchewan, as far away as Ontario, and they come together for a week or 2 weeks at a time to study. The program is based over 6 semesters. You can see some of the courses you'd study in fall, such as leadership and the philosophy of management. The Native Nations Institute is where we take our students down to Tucson in Arizona to work with the Native Nations Institute to take classes down there as part of the University of Arizona. And part 2 of that is where we reflect and build on that knowledge here in Vancouver. You can see that as well as doing traditional MBA courses, we also do courses such as policy and governance and look at issues specific to Indigenous communities. Also policy and resource development, strategies for sustainability as well. The capstone, which wraps up the program, spans over 2 semesters, beginning in the summer of 2019. And that can either be an individual research project or it can be a team-based project where the professors will pose a series of questions to your team to help you put into practice what you've learned over the previous 2 years. The atmosphere in the class is really inspiring. It's respectful, a reciprocal learning environment where our students learn a lot from each other, and also our professors learn a lot from our students. We as a school have learned a lot from this program, and you will have noticed in our full-time and our part-time program, we now have a business and Indigenous peoples course, which has come from our learnings from our EMBA ABL program. So last but not least is our EMBA program. As I mentioned earlier, this is the oldest EMBA program in Canada, which began back in 1968. The classes for this EMBA program are also here at the Seagull Graduate School. The program spans 20 months, and we have classes every Friday and Saturday, which are every 2 weeks. So you'll come in all day Friday, all day Saturday, every 2 weeks. It's an intensive retreat model. You really need to sort of turn off from your job. You need to turn off your phone and come in and be really focused for those 2 days. We capped the number of students on this program at 45, and you can see the key difference in the demographics for this program in terms of the age and the amount of experience that students have. So they have around 11 years of management experience, and 18 is the average amount of experience overall. They come from a wide variety of different industries and sectors, from First Nations development to software development, government, environment, sports and IT are all industries represented in our current class. And this is really a program for people who are already at that higher level management role. So when we assess your application for this program, we'll be looking closely at what you've done over the last 10 years. Have you managed large projects and large budgets within your organization? In year one, everybody moves through the program together, and you'll be put into a team of 5 people, and that team will be the same for the whole of the first 12 months on the program. So you need to really connect and work well with that team. And we'll purposely build you into a quite diverse team, so you won't have anybody in your team who's doing a similar role or from a similar industry as you. Moving into year 2 of the EMBA program, there's some options for you. The first option is for you to stay here in Vancouver and study through the program. And around 2/3 of the class would do that. They'd stay here in Vancouver on the main pathway through the EMBA program. The other option is to study on our MBA Americas. So around 15 people from the EMBA program each year head off, and instead of doing 2 days every 2 weeks, they'll do a series of 7 to 10 day intensives with 3 of our partner schools. FIA in Sao Paulo, ITAM in Mexico City, and Vanderbilt University in Nashville. Rather than being part of a team of 5 here in Vancouver, you'll be part of a new team with students from each of these universities who are all EMBA students. You begin in Vancouver and you move through to Sao Paulo, Mexico, and Nashville. And these areas that we would study, they're all areas of specialization for these schools. So that's a really exciting option, especially if you are working or thinking about working for a multinational or expanding your career beyond Canada. The EMBA program, in a similar way to the EMBA in Aboriginal Business and Leadership, is very much about bringing your experience and your knowledge to the class. The professor is very much the facilitator, pushing you to bring in your perspectives, challenge your ideas, encourage you to take on new concepts and new ideas. So there's a lot of great discussion, and it's very team-based, very experiential, but a lot of sort of career development comes out of that. I'm just going to play you a short video now from Jen, who's one of our recent graduates from the EMBA program.
I have a leadership role in working with the teams to rebuild St. Paul's Hospital. We're going to relocate to a new physical site in the downtown core, and we're essentially a catalyst for change for the entire healthcare system in British Columbia. I also have a second role. I'm the Regional Program Director for Mental Health and Substance Use with Vancouver Coastal Health Authority. I create project plans, I lead project plans, I check our financials to make sure we're on track. All of the project work that we did at BD during the EMBA experience, I apply every day. The return on investment is exponential in my mind.
So those are our 5 MBA programs that we have here at the BD School of Business. I've really only just skimmed the surface. I've only told you a very, very small amount about each one. This is really the start of the conversation. So I hope that you've seen an MBA program there that you feel could be a good fit for you in the future. If you're still not quite sure, and maybe you feel you're not quite ready to do an MBA yet, another great option that we have is our graduate diploma in business administration. This is an opportunity to study graduate level business online. These are MBA courses taught by the same professors from our MBA programs, but you can take them wherever and whenever you want. It's an online program. We still have small class sizes here, so in each cohort here, we'd have around 35 students in each class on the graduate diploma program, and you can transfer the courses that you take on this program into our full-time, our part-time, and also into our Management of Technology MBA. The next steps really, connect with us today. Ask us more questions about our programs. Tell us about what your ambitions are. Book a one-on-one appointment with myself or one of the team, and we can talk in more detail about our programs and about your aims and your ambitions. Moving forward, you'd be really welcome to come in for a class visit to connect with our current students and alumni. We'd be happy to introduce you. And we have all of the programs that I've talked about today, you can apply online. So you can start and apply gradually. We have a rolling admissions process, and we do have some deadlines which you can see on our website, but we process the applications in the order that we receive them. So if you think you've seen a program that's right for you and you want to apply, it's always advantageous to apply early. Thank you, everyone.